So, are you addicted to stress? And can you learn to listen to your body signals? Are you aware of listening so closely so that an emotional addiction to stress develops? It's also possible that we can become dependent on the feeling of being stressed. And we then deliberately look for stressful situations to satisfy our addiction. This can manifest as a need to always be busy, and then we find it difficult to relax, which can become an ingrained pattern of behavior that perpetuates the cycle of stress. One sign of stress addiction is overcommitting to things, not being able to say no to anyone. Another is feeling anxious or restless during our so-called chill time. We can feel agitated because we're not doing something that puts us under pressure. Or maybe we actively look for drama and even ramped up a chilled conversation into a conflict just to get that stress fix. And we can find calm situations boring or even unsettling. And then we want to fix that bored feeling. And so we create the need to fix things. And that keeps us in a stress cycle of fixing things. Anything, just something to fix. So we get that fix we need. We also want to keep ourselves busy so we can avoid uncomfortable emotions like boredom, loneliness, and sadness. We just can't switch off. So we check our phones, we doom scroll through whatever our favorite platform is. We're just not able to break that cycle of stress. So why can stress be addictive? Stress triggers the release of hormones like cortisol and dopamine. However, while cortisol is the stress hormone, dopamine acts as the reward, reinforcing the behaviors that lead to stress. And for some, a heightened emotional state associated with stress can become a familiar and even comforting pattern, even if it's ultimately harmful. And stressful situations can sometimes become a way to cope with underlying issues or trauma. So we might purposely look for stressful experiences as a way to avoid confronting deeper emotional pain. And now for the consequences of stress addiction. Chronic stress can lead to mental exhaustion, making it difficult to function effectively because it can leave us feeling like we're burnt out. And if we don't manage our stress, it can contribute to feelings of anxiety and more. Long-term stress can negatively impact physical health too, increasing the risk of conditions like high blood pressure, IBS, and more. Cortisol, it is an immune response. So when we're stressed, cortisol will appear. On one hand, cortisol helps our bodies balance blood sugar and our metabolism. It regulates our sleep-wake cycle. It reduces inflammation when needed, and it supports our hearts and blood pressure. And on the other hand, when we sense danger, whether it be physical, emotional, or environmental, cortisol pressures our bodies for fight, flight, or freeze. Short term, this is a good thing, but long term, it suppresses our immune system, creating inflammation, interrupting lymphatic drainage, and it slows down healing. So if you thrive on fast-paced deadlines and feel guilty if you take time off from work, you might be addicted to stress. Stress can cause a natural high by activating the arousal and attention centers in our nervous system, which, if prolonged, can be as addictive as drugs. In other words, your chronically stressed out brain could be dependent on those small euphoric hits of dopamine. So how do we break the cycle? There's no foolproof method for curbing a stress addiction, but exercise, being mindful in nature, and meditation are solid places to start. Being outside is good for dopamine levels, rather than doom scrolling and getting stuck in that hamster wheel of stress reward cycle. So these practices boost happy chemicals in the brain, including dopamine and endorphins, which are strong antidotes to the fight or flight response you're in when you're stressed. Helping ourselves out of the stress reward cycle takes some commitment and effort, all of it worthwhile. We need to put boundaries in place, which requires negotiating skills. We need good sleep. Also, try not watching the news. That can definitely be addicting. And really importantly, give your body good nourishment and drink enough water. And remember, cortisol is not our enemy. It's our body's emergency brake. But if it stays switched on, it slows our healing down, and peace can seem like a pipe dream. When cortisol resets, clarity and calm return. So if you enjoyed this, please like, comment and subscribe and share it with someone who could benefit from it. And thanks for watching.